19 years ago, in selecting Randolph-Macon's 15th president, then board chair Macon Brock offered Bob Lindgren the job with 4 prescient words that the new president shared at his inauguration.
Now is the time for Randolph-Macon. It almost reverberated.
It was a reflection of the moment, and it was a call to action.
And now coming to this special place and becoming a part of this special community, I can say it myself. Now is indeed the time for Randolph-Macon.
Right away, the work began to build the extraordinary future that Bob and his many partners saw for RMC. A master plan in 2008, a strategic plan, aptly named Now is the Time, in 2009.
And we had 4 goals in that: improving facilities, adding courses, focusing on outcomes, and growing the student body.
Together, they set about the work of strengthening the college with new majors and enhancing its focus on career preparation, and transforming the campus to support it all.
This is our magnificent campaign capstone, the Macon F. Brock Jr. Hall.
This is where Bob would want us to remind you that this wasn't his work, but the work of a community.
Because of you,
A passionate group of people who love Randolph-Macon College and came together to support its future with an extraordinary campaign.
Wow, what a night. Of course, Joan and I are thrilled to be here tonight and to celebrate the conclusion of the most ambitious and successful campaign in our history. I recall when we came up with the number that people sort of choked. But we said we've never done that before. But look at what we've done.
A campaign that exceeded its goals and seeded this remarkable transformation.
If you haven't been to campus in 5 or 6 years, you would not recognize it. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Along the way, Bob and Cheryl both were not just ever present, but ever engaged, taking genuine interest in the well-being of the growing student body, not just as a collective, but as individuals whom they were often the first to know.
I first met President Lindgren back at the alumni game when I came to watch the soccer game, and he really just made me feel at home here. So,
over time, the college added 15 academic majors for those students and expanded into new extracurricular activities: show choir, orchestra, e-sports, and equestrian. The athletics program has not just expanded under Bob as fan-in-chief, but flourished. 39 ODAC championships, 6 regional titles, 9 quarterfinals, 4 semifinals, and a national championship.
Randolph-Macon, making history!
President Lindgren has led not just cheers, but advocacy for D3 athletics as a beacon of all that it means to be a student athlete. Even more than the buildings and the programs, the improvements and the vision, his legacy is defined by his faith in us, a commitment to a mission and an ethos that was defined well before his time, strengthened by his leadership and positioned expertly to endure.
You make sure that the liberal arts education that we have enjoyed will continue to be enjoyed by generations to come.
And so we end with the words of Bob Lindgren himself, celebrating that campaign in 2016, and as always, looking toward the future.
for you see, whatever we have accomplished up to this point, here tonight, and it is gigantic, but whatever we have accomplished up until tonight is not as important, not as significant, not as consequential as what we do next, as what the next chapters are to come.
Good evening. I'm Sue Schick, and on behalf of Randolph-Macon College's Board of Trustees, we are truly delighted to welcome you as we gather to celebrate Bob and Cheryl Lindgren and their extraordinary 20-year journey as President and First Lady of Randolph-Macon. We are especially grateful to be joined this evening by so many who've played meaningful roles in this journey, including current and former trustees, members of the Ashland Town Council and the Hanover Board of Supervisors, cherished friends of the college, and generous members of the President's Society and Heritage Society. Your support has helped shape the very success that we're here to honor, and for that, we thank you. Now, if you know Bob, and you do, you know he's likely to be saying, this evening isn't about me. It's about what we've accomplished together over the last 2 decades. Can you hear him saying that, right? But tonight, Bob, we're gonna ask you to relinquish the mic just for a few minutes, just for a little while, and let us do for you what you've done for others so often, which is to express our appreciation. Because tonight is about you and the remarkable legacy that you and Cheryl have created at Randolph-Macon. Legacy. It's rare that a legacy is so visible. But in your case, Bob, it's all around us, and it's so much more than buildings. It's not just this amazing center for the performing arts, it's the students who leave here even more creative and confident. It's not just the state of the heart art pain hall, it's the students who take their critical thinking and communication skills to the bedside. It's not just Duke Hall or Brock Commons, it's the generations of graduates who will leave here stronger collaborators, better team players, better people. Your legacy lives on in the students, faculty, staff, and community you've impacted. Because over these 20 years, you haven't just served Randolph-Macon, you've shaped it. With vision and heart and unwavering dedication, you've helped this college grow in both impact and soul. Whether leading through change or championing our students, you've never lost sight of our mission to develop the mind and character of each student. But more than a leader, Bob, you've been a true friend. You've been there for us, and not just in the big moments like this, but in the quiet ones. Always listening, always caring, always giving. You've shown up with grace and good humor when we needed it most, reminding us that leadership isn't just about decisions, it's about heart. And you have given yours generously, time and time again. Tonight is about gratitude. Gratitude for steady hands, kind leadership, and a legacy, yes, a legacy, that will echo across this campus for generations. Bob, you built more than buildings. You built trust, tradition, community, and we will forever be grateful. So, in honor of Bob Lindgren, in a minute we are gonna raise a glass, and pretty soon we are gonna raise this roof. And so Joan, where are you to kick us off? Joan, are you over there?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joan Connors. I'm privileged to be the Charles J. Potts Professor of Social Science. I'm a Communications Studies professor here as well. And I also serve as Bob Lindgren's last faculty representative to the cabinet. It's a true honor to offer a toast to someone who has shaped Randolph-Macon College in lasting and such meaningful ways. For nearly 20 years, President Lindgren has led with vision, integrity, and a deep commitment to our liberal arts and mission. Under his leadership, the college has grown not only in size and reputation, but in spirit and opportunity for all of us. I've seen firsthand his respect for teaching, for scholarship, and to the people, and for the people who bring this place to life. He listens, he leads with heart, and he never loses sight of our shared purpose to educate and empower our students, as we say, to develop the minds and characters of our students. Bob, thank you for your steady leadership, your thoughtful voice, and your belief in all that Randolph-Macon can be. So everyone, please raise your glass to President Lindgren. Please accept this toast with our deepest gratitude and warmest wishes for the journey ahead. Cheers to you.
Good evening. I'm Alan Rashkind, and I've only got 15 pages, so just everybody relax. I'm going to start with a question. How many of you know the actual name of the center section of Birdsong? My guess is that not many of you know. The actual name is the Cheryl and Robert Lindgren Pavilion. The reason you don't know that is because Bob has attempted on several occasions to cover up the plaque on the first floor. But Diane keeps taking it down. But that's a testament not just to the fact that Cheryl is part of the team, but to their modesty, because they want everybody else to take credit. And Bob and Cheryl, tonight, you don't get that opportunity. And I should say that it should go without saying, but that never stops a lawyer from saying, Cheryl is, if she's not the captain of the team, she's really important to the team. And she takes some of the hardest shots. For instance, for the 10 years when I was board chair, she had to sit next to me at the official dinners. And that's tiring, but she managed. Truly, it was an honor to be asked to serve as the college's, as the Board of Trustees chair. But it was a privilege to do so when Bob was the president. I thought I knew how this place worked. After all, I'd been involved with the college under 4 presidents. I had been on the Board of Trustees with 3 prior superb board chairs. In fact, one of those prior superb board chairs, Beverly Dalton, is here tonight. Beverly, would you please stand wherever you are and let us congratulate you. Beverly is part of the foundation, and it would be rude of me if I didn't mention that she has a husband who's a graduate and a former chair of the Society of Alumni, and as former trustee, Doug. Doug, thank you for chauffeuring. So when I became chair, and again, this is like being a lawyer, I figured I knew everything about how to lead this college, and I was about to learn how best it could be led, because I'd never seen anything like the leadership and the vision that Bob exemplified throughout everything that he touched on this campus. And let me say that Bob's remarkable tenure has not just been praised here, it's not just been envied by other institutions and people, it's been coveted. And don't think there aren't many institutions and board chairs who would have jumped at the opportunity and opened their pocketbooks at the opportunity to have Bob come to their institution. But the good news for us is that Cheryl and Bob fell victim to the same virus all of us in this room have. We fell in love with Randolph-Macon, and they did too. So you know about all the things that they've done. I mean, they welcome freshmen, all of them, to their house their first year. Virtually every athlete on every team comes to their house, and that's even if they don't have the greatest season in the world. As you know, Bob is a frequent visitor to the athletic fields, and he knows about their accomplishments, and Bob and Cheryl have literally immersed themselves in the campus. Now, I'm not a numbers guy. If I were, even without help from Doug White, I could construct a matrix that would demonstrate for you Bob's importance, the impact, remember that word, impact, that he's had on this campus. Compare where we are now in 2025 to where we were in 2006 when the Lindgren team showed up. The number of students, the number of endowed professorships, undergraduate and postgraduate programs which have been added, men's and women's athletic teams, extracurricular activities and programs, including, for instance, something called esports and equestrian, And then how about the buildings? And while we're doing alliteration, we'll do from Brock to Birdsong. And there are a number of buildings with other names, some of them repeated, in that group. I couldn't count how many buildings there are. Again, Doug would do this if he were doing a matrix, but we're just going to let you imagine what those numbers are. And then we've added, who would have thought we would be having in 2025 2 postgraduate programs at Randolph-Macon College? This is part of Bob's tenure, which has been transformational because of his vision and leadership. Now, in the course of his leadership, he has assembled, and he would want me to tell you that he has assembled an excellent team of people who work under him, who work with him. And he has selected the right people, and then while giving them direction, admittedly, he's also given them the opportunity to develop their own skills. I noticed and mentioned to Diane Lauder early on in my tenure, I noticed that most mornings around 6 o'clock, I would get, that's in the morning, I would get a text from Bob or an email from Bob. I mentioned that to Diane. Diane chuckled and said, hers come much earlier. And Bob didn't just do that when he started here. He's doing it as he sprints to the finish line. I don't know when he sleeps. I'm not sure he does sleep. I know he doesn't get to watch late night Baltimore Orioles games because he has to be up the next morning to start emailing and directing people. And through all of it, Bob has displayed a talent which, Bob, I don't think you get enough credit for. Your improvisational stand-up. I mean, I'll give you an example that involves me. We had a professor, an endowed professorship, where it's a solemn occasion where we're going to honor a professor and a donor. And the script was, yes, we have scripts. The script was that I was going to do a brief introduction, and I did a brief introduction, or a brief statement. Then I was supposed to introduce Bob. Well, I forgot about that, and I just sat down. But Bob could handle it. He went straight to the podium, turned to me, and said, Alan, thank you for that warm introduction. And who can forget the time that we were dedicating Birdsong? And we were in the Dalton dining room in the Lindgren Pavilion, and Bob was giving one of his remarks in which he emphasizes the impact, note that word impact, that donors have on institutions like this. And the word impact had just parted his lips when from the football field below, a football came over the goalpost, over the nets, and crashed into the window with a bang. The window was hardened, it didn't break, but it sounded like a shot. Bob hardly flinched. He looked back and he said, you have no idea how long and hard we worked in order to get that to happen right when I said that. And if you believe that that was planned, well, okay, that's fine. Bob can control a lot of things, but he will tell you not to flight a football. And he's had, you know, any college president has hurdles and obstacles, good days and bad days. And for instance, you've seen some slides from the campaign celebration. What you didn't see was that the Ashland Fire, or the town fire marshal, was very concerned about how the decorations were hung in Brock. And he was concerned that we ought not to be allowed to do that. But he bargained with Beth King, and Beth came to me and said, would you just announce exactly where the exits are so that there would be no problem and the fire marshal would be satisfied? Well, I did that, but I did it as if I was a wisecracking Southwest flight attendant. And I don't know that it'd be accurate to say that the color drained from Bob's face, but it was a little tense there for a moment, and I know he was thinking, Sue can't become a board chair soon enough. But he made it. He made it through that, and he's made it through lots of other incidents, all for the better of Randolph-Macon College. Now, I don't think anybody in this room could possibly disagree with the proposition that Randolph-Macon has been the grateful beneficiary of the Lindgren team and Bob's leadership. My script doesn't say pause for applause, but it should have. And Bob mere thank yous would be insufficient. Numerous repeated thank yous is his line, and I won't steal that. But I will steal a line from a retired professor at his retirement ceremony, and he had been here longer than Bob. And some people thought he was somewhat of a curmudgeon, but I won't go there. But at this retirement ceremony a couple years ago, at the conclusion of the ceremony, the professor walked over, put his hand on Bob's shoulder, and said, "This man is the best thing that's ever happened to Randolph-Macon." Amen. How could you not agree? Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Cheryl.
I'm Barclay DuPriest. Thank you all. Tonight, I am honored to provide a toast to Bob and Cheryl Lindgren on behalf of all 306 staff members of Randolph-Macon College. Upon their arrival, Bob and Cheryl set as a top priority the goal of making staff members ever aware of just how valuable our services are to the success of RMC. The Lindgrens began by inviting all staff members to their home twice each year. Most staff members had never before been inside the president's house. Bob further showed appreciation of staff efforts by establishing the role of staff representative, by initiating a monthly staff roundtable, and by awarding twice yearly staff service awards. Bob never lost an opportunity to remind all staff members that each of us, regardless of our specific job, is an ambassador for Randolph-Macon College. Bob and Cheryl, your acknowledgement and appreciation of staff contributions will create a valuable and long-lasting legacy at our college. And on behalf of my fellow staff members, I wish for you two and Callie the happiest of retirement adventures. Now, let's all raise a glass to the incomparable, much-loved, and never to be forgotten Bob and Cheryl Lindgren. To Bob and Cheryl. Here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rob Young, and I have the privilege of currently serving as the Vice President for Administration and Finance here at Randolph-Macon. Tonight, I'm honored to stand here with my two predecessors in this role, Paul Davies and John Alatis. Together, under President Lindgren's leadership, the three of us have had the honor of helping oversee the construction and renovation of 17 campus buildings, made possible by more than $110 million in private support, generously given by many of you joining us this evening.
I'm going off a little bit off script. I just want to let you know it took 3 CFOs to get through this, okay? I want to let you know. We've been tag teaming for the last 20 years anyway, but now we won't sugarcoat it. There were plenty of meetings, more than a few headaches, and a lot of moving pieces. Thanks in large part to exceptional craftsmanship, reliability of English instruction, a strong working relationship with the Town of Ashland, the county, Hanover County, a dedicated building grounds committee, these projects were masterfully completed on time in harmony with the campus's Georgian architect. And thanks to you, Bob, with your fascination with domes and top buildings, I've added a new vocabulary word, cupola.
So as we've heard, many improvement projects have taken place during President Lindgren's tenure, including moving Smith Street to make way for the Hugh Stevens baseball field at Estes Park. So it's very fitting that tonight, as we celebrate Bob Lindgren's contributions to the renewal of our campus, we announce a final touch. And that touch is the naming of a street leading to the new student residence houses on the west side of the railroad track.
And from now on, this street will be known as Lindgren Lane.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Kagi, and I'm honored to be here tonight. As a student athlete, I've had the privilege of experiencing some of the very best that Randolph-Macon has to offer. And at the heart of that experience has been President Lindgren's leadership. I've had the joy of seeing President and Mrs. Lindgren in the stands, cheering teams on during games, not only throughout my career, but my entire life. I remember attending every ODAC tournament basketball game in Salem growing up and seeing President and Mrs. Lindgren in the stands year after year. He would shake my hand and tell me, "I cannot wait for you to be a Yellow Jacket." Now here we are, and I can confidently say that they've supported me and so many of my peers, not only on the court, but off the court as well. They've taken a genuine interest in our lives, our dreams, and our well-being. That kind of care doesn't go unnoticed. President Lindgren, you've been there for all of us through every victory, every challenge, and every milestone, and for that we are truly grateful. Please join me in raising your glass as we celebrate a remarkable chapter in the life of this college and look ahead as we continue to build our bright future. Cheers.
I'm Rhonda Toussaint, and I am pleased to be here representing the Randolph-Macon College Society of Alumni. Susan Donovan, our beloved former Executive Director of Alumni Relations, had hoped to be here but is unable, but she sends you her very best wishes. At this time, I would like to invite Cheryl Lindgren to the stage. According to her diplomas, Cheryl Lindgren is a Florida Gator. But we know there isn't a more loyal Randolph-Macon Yellow Jacket in the center of the universe or anywhere else for that matter. When President Lindgren arrived from Johns Hopkins in February 2006 to serve as RMC's 15th president, everyone knew he would play an important role in the life and future of the college. But I doubt anyone could have anticipated the place that Cheryl would come to occupy in our hearts. With her boundless energy, warmth, and big smile, Cheryl has been a cheerleader not just for the athletics teams, but for the entire RMC community. Cheryl is everywhere at everything. She even traveled to Japan for a J-term class. Additionally, Cheryl is a devoted grandmother to Palmer and Sawyer, a proud and loving mom to Jim, Greg, and Andrea, dog mom to Callie, and a caring daughter who supported her parents with grace and compassion in their later years. She has generously opened the president's home for countless events, serving as a gracious and welcoming hostess. All the while, she remained a steady source of strength and encouragement, quietly and consistently supporting Bob's leadership of the college. So tonight, with enormous gratitude, We are proud to call her one of our own and officially name Cheryl Lindgren as an honorary alumna of our beloved college.
Thank you, Alan, for that warm introduction. Good evening. I'm Harold Stark, trustee emeritus and a member of the class of 1967. 20 years ago, almost to the day, our beloved late board chairman, Macon Brock, convened a committee to bring us a new president, one who, in Macon's prophetic words, would move the needle. I was fortunate to serve on that committee along with several of my colleagues who are here with us tonight. Ben Shapiro, who actually introduced Bob to the college before the search officially began, former trustee Charles Wernham, Dean Lauren Bell, and former provost Bill Franz, and Anne-Marie LaRosin. What a memorable journey that was 20 years ago. And now, 2 decades later, I stand before you filled with pride and gratitude. Feelings I know are shared by all of us in this room tonight. In more than 60 years since I arrived on campus as a freshman, I can say with confidence that the Lindgren era has been the most transformative period in Randolph-Macon's nearly 200-year history. The needle has not just moved, it has vaulted forward. During this time, while the college has continued to shape the course of countless lives, it has become stronger, more vibrant, and more respected as a liberal arts institution that remains true to its values while evolving to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world. That progress, this extraordinary evolution, has been made possible because of all of you and those like you who have provided your support, your commitment, and your unwavering belief in the Randolph-Macon mission. Yet, just as every cause needs a champion, so too our college needed a leader to guide us and inspire us, someone to focus our passion, to steward our hopes, and to help turn our vision into reality. Bob has been that leader. He and I are kindred spirits in many ways. We both share a law school background, although some would argue Bob chose a more noble career path. And aren't we ever grateful that he did? And we're both sailors. Although Bob, well, he's had a couple of boats over the last 19 years. I'm not sure he's spent much time sailing, but hopefully that will change. Like a seasoned captain at the helm, Bob has steered this ship with a steady hand and with a clear eye on the horizon, navigating both calm waters and choppy seas with grace, conviction, and courage. As chair of that search committee 20 years ago, I was among the first to welcome Bob to Ashland, and so tonight it feels especially meaningful to be among the first to publicly thank him for a job extraordinarily done, and to wish him and Cheryl farewell and Godspeed as they begin their next great voyage. Please raise a glass to President Bob Lindgren.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is fantastic. I'm glad you could come to this party and celebrate a wonderful family. I'm Diane Lauder, and I've had the great pleasure of working alongside Bob for 18 years as his Vice President for College Advancement. While tonight celebrates the incredible leadership of the Lindgrens, I want to begin first by thanking you, our generous donors and our best champions of this college. In the past 19 years, your unwavering support has helped raise $250 million. That is a powerful reflection of the impact your philanthropy has made. Impact, where's my football? I couldn't do it, only Bob Lindgren could do that. One meaningful milestone this year has been the creation of the President's Legacy Fund, giving our community a way to honor Bob while supporting our campus, students, faculty, and future. In just 10 months, you have already committed more than $7.5 million. Thank you. Every single gift matters, and I'm deeply, deeply grateful. And tonight, I'm thrilled to announce a particularly transformational commitment to our growing engineering program. Tonight, I am announcing the creation of the Mariah Warnham Rippey Endowed Professorship in Engineering. Mariah, will you please stand? Mariah. Well, Mariah wouldn't stand, but she's right here, and thank you from the bottom of our heart. So as I said, the President's Legacy Fund is at a whopping $7.5 million, but I have to pause right now and ask myself, what would Bob Lindgren do? I think he'd smile and say, keep that door open. There's still time to be a part of this special effort until June 30th. So your gifts are more than generous. They're a tribute to Bob's legacy and a lasting investment in Randolph-Macon's future. So from all of us, thank you. So I should sit down right now, but I'm not. I promised Bob I would not roast him. I mean, let's be honest. He's just given me so much material to work with. But I still have to get a paycheck, so. True to my promise, I will give you just a few fun facts that you may not know about Bob Lindgren. Despite his brilliance, Bob and driving directions have never gotten along. This is true. I have lost count of how many times he has called me from his car, and the call begins not, hello, Diane. He says, where am I? I don't know, Bob, but we'll figure it out. Bob's a devoted fan of the band Chicago, so if I want to get in his good graces, I hum a little Saturday in the Park, a little good. I think the children will get a kick out of this one. He may be the last person on earth who still uses an iPod. Actually, he's got several in the wings just in case this one breaks. At sporting events, Bob is known for offering referees some enthusiastic feedback. And on campus, nothing makes him happier than the soft serve ice cream machine in Estes Hall. All right, but here's the truth. Beyond the quirks and laughs, no one loves the college more than Bob. He absolutely refuses to walk through an airport without his RMC ball cap. We've actually stood there for a while looking for it, but he finds it. So I asked him why, but he told me he's ready to give any stranger who asks a full-on admissions brochure, a fundraising pitch, and an invitation to an upcoming alumni event. But more than that, Bob shows up, quietly, faithfully, in life's hardest moments. He's there. At the hospital, at the funeral, he never sees it as a job. It's just who he is. So if I had to sum up Bob Lindgren in one sentence, I'd say Bob Lindgren is our fearless, if occasionally lost, leader, a soft-serve enthusiast, a loyal Chicago fan, and a president whose love for Randolph-Macon has shaped this college forever. Bob, it's been an honor to work by your side. It's felt like a daily master class. That wasn't supposed to be funny. Anyway, not just in leadership, but in quiet strength, decency, and generosity. Thank you. And now, it is my privilege to invite Randolph-Macon's 15th president, Robert Lindgren, to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Boy, that was something. Really something. Quite over the top. And Cheryl and I and our children are very grateful for your presence here this evening, as you being here and in the reception earlier. It certainly warms our hearts in the most profound way. Now, I will tell you that I'm speechless. I expected that you would know me well enough to know that I'm not going to take things that far. I do have a few things I would like to say. First of all, to our speakers this evening, Joan, Barclay, Alan, Catherine, Harold, Rhonda, Rob, Paul, and John, and Diane. All I can say is, for Cheryl and me, as we sat together, your wonderful remarks were profoundly meaningful and left us deeply affected as we sat there. We're so very grateful, both that you are here and by what you said. Now, I should start with some personal thanks. I would like to begin first and foremost by thanking my family, who have supported me unconditionally as I spent a lot of time away throughout my career, including here. And especially Cheryl, who sacrificed her own career and has been such a willing and generous partner in all that I have accomplished and we have accomplished together. I love you all. Thank you. The outstanding Board of Trustees, members with whom I have been honored to serve, and especially those three magnificent board chairs, Macon Brock, Alan Rashkin, and now Sue Schick. Each helped me become a better leader, and I think a better person. And no college could ask for better board leadership than those who have or are serving RMC now. And I'm so pleased, Joan, that you have joined us this evening as well, for yours and Macon's indelible marks are everywhere on this campus, and we're so grateful to Macon for the wonderful leadership he provided. So now I ask you all to join me in honoring those board chairs, Macon, Alan, and Sue. And I also have to mention Harold Stark, who, as he indicated, chaired my search committee here, and also Ben Shapiro, the person who so generously introduced RMC to me. And you should know that Ben literally drove me to Ashland for my first campus visit. He didn't work out a way to get back to Baltimore, but I managed to do that on my own. But I can safely say that without Harold and Ben, I likely wouldn't be standing here tonight. And this college is served amazingly well, day by day, by highly professional and dedicated staff and faculty. They are the absolute core of our excellence. And I have been blessed with remarkable cabinet colleagues throughout my service here, really smart and dedicated individuals, all extraordinarily loyal to this college and our students. And yes, the senior member of that group is the indefatigable and relentlessly cheerful Diane Louder. As you heard, she joined me exactly 1 year after I had started here and has been keeping me on track and on task ever since. And as Joan pointed out, she's the last and a very fine faculty representative to the cabinet and to the board. There have been 8 in my time here, and all were outstanding while serving in a very important and yet challenging role. I've also been well served by 4 invaluable executive assistants, John Conkrite, Jen Thompson, the late Tim Bullis, and now Professor John McManus, who, by the way, left his sabbatical early and took on this year extra assignments to serve in this role. Thank you, John, and thank you, Mary. And I just know that our president's office is very welcoming and efficient always, due to the long time, highly effective work of Assistant to the President and Assistant Secretary to the Board, Emily Harrison, and Sabrina Granderson, who are both here tonight. And Diane, you're not alone. Emily's received a few of those "where am I" questions along the way. Now, my career prior to RMC was somewhat unusual in that I had the privilege of reporting to seven different presidents over 24 years, all of whom taught and inspired me so very much. And there's one from that group who's here tonight, Dr. William Brody, President Emeritus of the Johns Hopkins University. And he was the one I reported to the longest, and who also very generously mentored and launched me into my own presidency here. Bill, thank you very much. Bill was our wonderful commencement speaker here just 2 years ago, and it's so nice to have Bill and his wife Una back with us again this evening. And we are so grateful for your friendship and support and for making that long drive down from Baltimore. And he's got an early morning meeting, so I'm going to go a little quicker now to get you out of here, Bill.
It took a little hard for me to come down after the baseball team.
Yeah. Well, I will say that a few years into my presidency, we were having a pretty good run, and I happened to call Dr. Brody and just to make sure he realized that we had beaten Johns Hopkins, the Johns Hopkins University Blue Jays in football, in basketball, baseball, women's volleyball. And as he has always been, he was right to the point to give me good advice. Lindgren, he said, you're spending too much time on athletics there. Remember that? You told me that. So thank you to all of those individuals. And let me get back to my point here. I mean, one of the features, and I should confess, benefits of announcing one's retirement a year ahead of time in a more public position like mine is that Cheryl and I have been overwhelmed with responses to that announcement and the very generous expressions of gratitude from so many alumni and friends and faculty and staff and even students these past months, and especially these past weeks and days. And most especially out there in that magical tent before we walked in here. So I am left with two simple phrases and one abiding message for you. The first phrase is thank you. Yes, thank you for your kindness, your thoughtfulness, your persistence, and may I say your exaggeration in the manner in which you have shared your feelings of gratitude to Cheryl and me. You have touched us deeply. We have been deeply honored to serve this college, this community, and especially our students. Indeed, we have gotten up every day for 19 years, blessed, simply blessed, to do just that. And your kind words have made that work even more worthwhile. My second simple phrase is thank you. With you in that phrase in all caps and bold letters, I say thank you to all of you for the simple reason that whatever success we may have achieved over recent years, it has been in reality the result of the hard work and boundless energy and fabulous generosity of many, many, many good people, including, most especially, you. Those of you here today, and those of you associated with working hard on behalf of RMC. My favorite line, which I've come to depend on more recently, which just happens to be overwhelmingly true, is that there have been a lot of people pulling on the oars here, a lot of arms. And it is in that spirit that I speak to you here tonight, to say thank you and thank you and thank you again from the bottom of Cheryl's and my heart for all you do each and every day for Randolph-Macon and our students. For you are truly making a difference in their lives and in the lives that they in turn will impact and touch through the magic of their own human ripple effect. And you are certainly doing so also by the difference you are making in the upward trajectory of this beloved institution. The beauty and strength and greater breadth and warmth of this campus is owed directly to so many people in this auditorium and beyond, individuals who took the vision of a campus master plan and the fortitude of our strategic plan and supported our new facilities and new programs and faculty support and vital scholarships in such generous ways. And more importantly, in these challenging times, you have provided so many individuals a gift of increased pride in their alma mater, their family's alma mater, their adopted alma mater. Great pride, and even more importantly, even greater hope and confidence in our future. And the very kind of hope and confidence that will continue attracting even more folks and new folks, grabbing those oars and pulling hard for us and with us in the future. And that sense of continued aspiration and that upward curve of our institutional trajectory are what I'm most proud of. And I also want you to know that I've met with multiple groups of alumni and friends and parents this year, often in the beautiful homes of alumni and special friends, with the theme of my pending departure crowding the room, literally and figuratively. And I've consistently listed the inherent strengths of Randolph-Macon that I encountered back in February 2006, and even before as I did my homework and then threw my hat into the presidential search ring here. Namely, a college with a great tradition and one that is still highly aspirational, with excellent and faithful faculty and staff, highly dedicated to teaching and mentoring, a strong board with fabulous leadership, surrounded by generous and loyal alumni and friends, and a campus sited in a fabulous location. Don't we have so much for which to thank our forebears on the board way back then, who moved this college from tiny and remote Boynton, Virginia, which, by the way, is still tiny and remote, to our absolutely fabulous location here, in a very special town to our scale, but oh so very close to a commercially vibrant state capital with all of Richmond's benefits available to our students and our faculty and staff. And then there was another powerfully important strength that I came to identify after I arrived in Ashland. That RMC was characterized by students who respected their faculty and faculty who valued their students, something not always found, and even at institutions like ours. Yet, yes, RMC possessed in our own way a special sense of grace and humility and humanity. And while we had needs, I was quickly blessed to be surrounded and lifted up by a powerfully effective faculty and staff, fantastic coaches, talented and loyal cabinet colleagues, extraordinarily dedicated and gifted board members, and loyal alumni and parents and friends, including all of you in this auditorium here tonight. All of you who grabbed an oar and helped produce enormous progress. Members of a powerful team who work together to take advantage of our inherent strengths and build something even better here. All of which, fast forward, put us in the position to conduct a robust presidential search process this year, resulting in the appointment of a remarkable leader in Dr. Michael Hill, who I have every expectation will lead us ably to and through a remarkable 200th anniversary in just 5 short years. We have so much to look forward to, which brings me to my abiding message to each and every one of you, one that builds on what we've heard called out in that clip we saw at the beginning, the one which featured Macon Brock's encouraging words to me, "Now is the time for Randolph-Macon." And so today, based on our inherent strengths, namely the superb quality and dedication of our faculty and staff, the commitment and vision of our board and leadership, the continuing generosity and loyalty of our alumni and friends, the optimism, enthusiasm, and energy of new students and more students. Did you hear that, Brenda? More students. And the promise of our new leadership, I believe as fervently as I can that now is the time for Randolph-Macon. That is, now is the time for Randolph-Macon to become even better, even stronger, even more successful in changing the lives of our students and our alumni. And Cheryl and I offer our profound thanks and love to you again for your kindness and your friendship and your generosity and support, for all that you have done and for all that you will continue to do to make the future of our beloved RMC even better and brighter in the days ahead. So thank you, thank you, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. Go Jackets.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Bob, and what an extraordinary evening. But of course, it wouldn't be a magical Randolph-Macon evening without one last surprise. So could we ask Cheryl and the Lindgren family to join us on stage? And also George and Everett Birdsong, we'd love for you to come forward as well. There they are. Want to move on down? Now, you all know, the Birdsong family has been woven into the fabric of Randolph-Macon for over a century. 19 members, you gotta move down so everybody can see it. 19 members of the family have attended the college, beginning with Thomas Birdsong Jr., who graduated in 1920. Their steadfast support, both personal and financial, has played a vital role in Randolph-Macon's success, and tonight is no exception. It is my great pleasure to share two remarkable gifts from the Birdsong family. First, the Birdsong family deeply appreciates all that Cheryl has done to support Bob and his tireless leadership of the college. And so in her honor, the Birdsong Corporation, a family-owned business, has made a very generous gift to the Cheryl K. Lindgren Scholarship. And second, the Birdsongs have made a remarkably extraordinary gift to support the renovation of this Center for the Performing Arts. In recognition of their generosity and in tribute to the Lindgrens' enduring contributions, the Birdsong family has requested that this stage will, from this night forward, be known as the Lindgren stage in Blackwell Auditorium. We're walking on wonderful ground here. It's a beautiful name and a meaningful tribute. Will you please thank George and Everett again and the entire Birdsong family? I would love you. We're going to do a screening. Please do.
Thank you, everyone. I'm George Birdsong. I'm the CEO of Birdsong Corporation, and this is Everett Birdsong. He's the vice president. And it strikes me tonight that I've heard 19 a lot. And do you realize it was 1919 that my first uncle came to Randolph-Macon? And you know that since that time, there have been 19 Birdsongs. And did you catch the fact that Bob Lindgren has led us for 19 years? Something is happening here. I don't know what it is. But in less than 19 words, I'll just say Bob Lindgren and Cheryl, we've appreciated so much their service, and it has meant so much to the whole Birdsong family, and we are just deeply grateful. Thank you, Bob and Cheryl.
All right, and now we're going to turn our attention to the screen for a parting video.
Hi, Bob. I was just checking your schedule, and something seemed really odd to me, so I had Sabrina double check, and we checked your calendar on the computer, on your laptop, we checked the one on your phone,
your paper calendar, your day timer.
I mean, we checked all the calendars.
All of the calendars.
And it seems like you don't have any events requiring remarks after May 25th.
It's blank. It's blank.
So happy retirement.
Happy retirement.
Hey, President Lindgren, I really appreciate everything you've done for me, for my family, for our football program, and for Randolph-Macon. Been one of the best bosses I've ever had, and wish you the best in your retirement.
Bob and Cheryl, thanks for your friendship for nearly 30 years. Congratulations and Godspeed.
Bob, we just want to say congratulations, but even more than congratulations, thank you.
Hi, Bob.
This is from your inauguration 19 years ago, a little over that. And I want to wish you a very happy, long, and healthy retirement.
Congratulations, President Lindgren.
It's been a joy to be a part of this journey. Thanks for all your efforts. Thanks for supporting athletics.
On behalf of Lux Show Choir,
congratulations! I just want to say thank you one more time and tip my hat to you, sir. Well done. I'm going to try out another. Go Jackets.
congrats on retirement, President Lindgren.
Hats off to you from the Hugh, President Lindgren.
From your devoted cabinet,
hats off to you.
With that, as we close the evening, will you please rise and turn your attention to Olivia Murray, who will lead us in the alma mater. Where's Olivia? Right here we go, Olivia.
You can find the words on the back of your program if you don't know the lyrics. Ready? The wood misted oaks and maples, beautiful to view, stands our noble alma mater.